Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today is the start of another vlog. So this is going to be my Do I Like White Man Fantasy vlog. And what do I mean by white man fantasy? I had a conversation with a friend that made me realize that I don't really read books written by men in general, like not very often. And when it comes to fantasy, I specifically tend to read books written by Black and Asian women. So I was talking with some friends and one of them said, I don't think you like white man fantasy. And I was like, you might be right. I don't know. I've never been interested in like reading Lord of the Rings. I had attempted to read A Knight of Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. I read 2/3 of it and then it put me in a month-long reading slump. So I will never read Game of Thrones. Love the TV show, even though I waited till the very last possible minute to watch that show. I literally waited until it was complete. And I'm not interested in a lot of the typical fantasy things. I'm not. So for this vlog, I'm going to be reading 3 fantasy books, seeing if I need to broaden my fantasy horizons. I typically lean towards African-inspired fantasies, Asian-inspired fantasies, and really have not read like any fantasies written by white men. So the books that I'm going to be reading are Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, and I was gonna stop at those 2, but then Monet said that I really needed to add a 3rd, and so she gave me the option of Name of the Wind or a book by Joe Abercrombie. I don't know the name of it, so I'm gonna go with Name of the Wind. Robin and I are buddy reading Theft of Swords for our January 2024 buddy read. So that is the first book that I'm going to read. I currently have the audio, and my ebook hold from Libby will be available soon. So for that one, I'm gonna do a blended read. I'm gonna try to do a blended read for all of these. However, I've been told that Mistborn specifically should be read with eyeballs, but that for Theft of Swords, audio is fine. So I'm gonna start with audio, and then when my ebook hold comes in, I'll start with that. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not gonna lie. My expectation is that I'm probably going to DNF most of these. And I want to make it clear there's nothing wrong with white man fantasy. It's just not what attracts me. Like, it's just not something that I was really interested in. And so that 3rd book, Name of the Wind, specifically, Monet was like, there's wizards. And I was like, But she was like, no, you have to do one that has this sort of magic in it. And I was like, okay, so this is what we're doing. But I'll get started on Theft of Swords and I'll let you know how it goes. And I have holds for Mistborn. I think I have a hold for the Mistborn ebook on Libby. I think I have a few weeks to wait for that one. And for Name of the Wind, I might already have the ebook readily available somewhere. I'll double check and let you all know how I'm going to be reading all of these. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Hello, it's cold, hence fluffy hoodie. But I have started reading Theft of Swords. I'm about 100 pages in. I think I just got to chapter 4 and I'm not hating it, which is great. This is honestly the book that I expect to be, I don't want to say the favorite, but like the most successful of this vlog. That's really just going off of how many of my friends who I have similar reading taste to enjoy Michael J. Sullivan. So looks like that will be the case. So far, I really like Royce and Hadrian. So that is unexpected, but in the best way. We were getting to a certain point and I thought, oh, this must be why it's called Theft of Swords. But then everything fucking went left and now we're doing a whole different thing now. So I really don't know where this is going. However, I am semi enjoying it. I will say though, the chapters are very long and that is very annoying. Otherwise though, the story is intriguing and I do think that I will continue. I hope that I like this one. I'll say that if I rate this one at least 3 stars, I will continue with the series. So we're off to a pretty good start, which makes me worried for the rest of this vlog, but for now, it's going pretty well. Hello. So I have finished book 1 in Theft of Swords because it is 2 books in one, and I liked it. I didn't mind the wizard. I really enjoyed all of the plot twists. I was constantly guessing what was gonna happen and which character was behind what, and it was pretty good. If I had to rate it, I would give it like a 3.75 or a 4. So I'm gonna move on to book 2 and we'll see how it goes. Robin's also enjoying it. We're buddy reading this. So I think that if we both feel the same way about book 2 as well, we'll probably continue the series together. Hi. So I finished reading Theft of Swords. Book 2 was not as exciting as the first one. The beginning of it was very slow and it sort of took us a while to get into what was happening. I did still like it though. If I had to rate that one separately, I would rate it like a 3.5. Overall for both books, I was thinking like a 3.75, which is right in between where both of them are rated, but I'm gonna round it up to 4. I did really like it. I really do enjoy following Royce and Hadrian, and I am interested in continuing the series. So Theft of Swords was a success. I am still waiting on holds for both Name of the Wind and Mistborn, so whenever those come through, whichever one comes first, I will move into that one. But this has been a very good start to this experiment.
Hello, so I've started reading Name of the Wind, and this is book 1 in the Killer Chronicles. I don't know how I feel about it right now. Like, the synopsis is so vague. It's basically like, I've done all these things, all these mysterious things, and nobody knows who I am, and blah, blah, blah. And so I assume that that is the innkeeper that we're following in the beginning. And he is trying to keep his identity secret. Only one person seems to know who he really is. But there was a creature that was killed in the forest or some shit. And it's like a spider with fucking razor feet and whatever the fuck. I don't really know what's going on, to be totally honest. And I'm intrigued by this creature. But where the story is going overall, I have no clue at this moment. And if I had to decide right now, I'm not really feeling it. I'm sure that'll change once I get more information, once I get to know the characters a little bit more. So we'll see how it goes. I think that if I had to pick, this one is probably the one that I expect to like the least. Just again, based off of my friends that read fantasy and who I have similar reading taste to. So we shall see. I am doing a blended read. The audiobook was available on Script and I got the ebook from Livy. My hold came through. So I'm gonna try to read about 60-ish pages a day before my hold is up. I think I have it for like 2 weeks. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Not feeling it yet, but that could change.
All right, so I'm in the office today and I am going to DNF Name of the Wind. I was hoping to make it to 10% and then decide. However, we were getting to a point where the main character was about to like tell his story or whatever, so I read that chapter and I just don't care. I feel like if I continue to read it, it's just gonna be a waste of time. Like, none of this is interesting to me. Like, the little creature, spider creature things, those were interesting for a minute, but that's it. That's all I got. So that's a DNF. I'm going to attempt to get through the rest of my TBR for this month before I try to read whatever the Brandon Sanderson book is. My hold came through from Libby, but I pushed it back for a few weeks so I can get through my actual TBR. But most of the books that I'm reading this month are pretty short, so I'm hoping that I can start that at the end of the month. And then this vlog will go up. I don't know what to expect from Brandon Sanderson. I feel like a lot of people really like him. I just don't know if I will. A lot of my friends like him though, so I do feel that this will be more successful than Name of the Wind, but we'll see. Hello. My hold for Mistborn just came through from Libby. So I have the ebook there and I found the audiobook on Hoopla. This is the final book of this vlog. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. This will be my first time reading anything by Brandon Sanderson. I don't know what this is about. I have no inkling at all. So we'll see how it goes. I think that this will probably be like in the middle. I don't think that I'm gonna enjoy it as much as Theft of Swords, but I don't think I'm going to, either I'm not gonna DNF it or I'm not gonna DNF as early as I did Name of the Wind. That's my prediction, so we shall see. I will come back when I have some sort of update, but wish me luck. So I am currently 25% into the Final Empire. That's the title, not Mistborn, but I'm actually enjoying it much more than I expected. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy this more than Theft of Swords, but I am at least very intrigued at this point. I really like Kelsier. I like Sazed, I think is his name, and I don't mind Vin. I don't mind this chosen one trope and her learning her powers. The one thing that does irritate me about her is her internal monologue on betrayal and someone's always going to betray you. You can't trust anybody. You can never get close to anybody. This person must have ulterior motives and da-da-da. Like, I get it. I get that your brother hurt you, but that doesn't have anything to do with what's going on right now. And granted, she is a woman, so she does need to be very careful about how she moves in these spaces and everything. However, it feels to me like with where we are and with her constantly having her brother's voice in her head, I feel like she's going to be the one to betray someone else. I feel like she's going to betray Kelsier and the crew. So I don't know if that's accurate or if that is actually foreshadowing or if I'm making that up, but right now I'm actually enjoying it. Problem is, I have 4 days left before my ebook hold goes back to the library. Can I finish it in 4 days? Probably. But we'll see. So far I'm enjoying it though, and that is a surprise. Good to know though that the majority of this vlog won't be a fail, but I will update y'all when I get a little further, maybe around 50% or so. Even if I do end up liking this first book overall, I'm not entirely sure right now if I would continue the series. I think that's going to be heavily dependent on how it ends and if I'm intrigued enough to keep going. But I will give y'all an update when I read a little further. I am currently 43% into the Final Empire and I have 3 days before my ebook hold goes back. And now I just have questions because there was a comment made about her brother and about him leaving, and I'm wondering how long it's been since that happened because I thought it had been like maybe years, but it seems like it was sooner than that. I'm also curious about her dad since the Inquisitor asked which nobleman fathered her. I'm wondering if that's going to come back up later. And then I asked Robin and Jess, I said nothing bad happens to Sazed, right? And they both ignored me. So I'm worried because I really like him. I think he's my favorite character. I really like Kelsier too. At this point in time, I'm trying to read as much as I can so that I can finish it before the ebook goes. I still have the audio on Hoopla, so I could just listen to the end, but I'm enjoying having a blended read of it, so I try to read as much as I can while I can, but I am in the office for the next 2 days, so we'll see how that works, but I'm enjoying it. I'm actually having a pretty good time, and I was not expecting to, so this is good. So I'm 57% in right now, and 2 things. First, the little snippets that we were getting at the beginning of every chapter, at first I thought it was like Kelsier, then I thought maybe it was Sazed, but apparently it's the Lord Ruler, so I was not expecting that, and I'm interested to see if we learn more about, I guess, his ascension or whatever. Also, I think the last book in the series is called Well of Ascension, which was mentioned in the Lord Ruler's journal or whatever. So that makes me wonder if, like, Vin is supposed to become the next Lord Ruler or something. I'm speculating, so that could be completely off base. I don't know. But the second thing is that Vin is being so fucking naive right now, and I get it. At this point, she is only 17, and I need to remind myself of that. But she's having a conversation with Dachshund about what life was like for him when he lived on a plantation. And she's like, oh, but the people that I know, all the noble people that I know, they're not like that. They would never do that. And I'm just like, be fucking for real. You can't be this naive. After everything that your brother has taught you, you really think that that's how that goes? Also, I'm wondering if her brother comes back at any point. Maybe not in this book, maybe later in the series. I feel like that has to happen. Either she has to find out that he's dead or he has to come up. I think. Maybe. I could be wrong. Good morning. It's the next day. I continued to listen on my walk to work this morning, And since I'm in the office today and tomorrow, I probably won't get a ton done while I'm here. However, I just found out that Ben's daddy is the head of the ministry, and that has to come back to bite him in the ass somehow. It just has to. I'm gonna be very disappointed if it doesn't. I have one day left on my Libby hold, and I finished the book. Shout out to my friends for doing sprints with me because I really fucking needed it. But now that I have finished The Final Empire, I will say that I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the majority of the characters, the world, the allomancy, the plot twists and reveals. I had a good time with all of that. I think that I'm going to rate it somewhere between a 3.75 and a 4. For me, 3.75 is kind of like a low 4. One thing that I disliked for sure was Vin. And the fact that the story is centered around her just didn't work for me. I understand that she's only 17 and so, you know, she's supposed to read young. However, being in her head sometimes was really fucking annoying. Her constant, can't trust anyone, everyone's gonna betray you and blah, 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 and like whatever. The way that she ended up revealing herself at that last ball, I felt was just like ridiculously irresponsible and very naive. Granted, she did win that little battle with old girl, so good for her. But overall, I just really hate Vin. I didn't care about the romance subplot, and if that's going to continue in the next few books, I really don't think that it's going to be worth it. With that being said, I don't think that I'm going to continue the series. Sure, I'm a little curious about how things are going to be moving forward with the way that it ended. I'm just going to ask Jess and Robin to tell me, honestly, and that will be enough for me. So, as a recap, I read Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan, and I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars, and I will be continuing that series. Probably this year, Robin and I are planning to continue buddy reading them. I attempted to read The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss and DNF'd it at 8%. Monet set me up with that one. She really did, and she knew she did. And I called her out on it, and she admitted it. Feels rude to me, but okay. And then I read The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, and I will not be continuing that series. At this point in time, do I think that I would read anything else by Brandon Sanderson? Maybe one day I might decide to give another series a try, but honestly, that's pretty doubtful. So, do I like white man fantasy? Not really. And that's not surprising. That was kind of the whole point, was to see. And I will say that enjoying the Michael J. Sullivan series was honestly a surprise, and a win is a win. But now that we have come to the final book in this vlog, let me know what you thought of this process, what you expected I would like and what I didn't. I would say give me recommendations, but I don't really care to read white man fantasy all like that. So if you really think that there's something that I'm going to enjoy as much as or more than Theft of Swords, let me know. Otherwise, don't just be in the comments recommending anything, because no. But let me know if you've read any of these books in these series or if they are on your TBR. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.